This picture-perfect dad bod has had the privilege of sitting on over 100 chairs, and I have about $60,000 worth of chairs sitting in my studio right now. And I have found some incredible chairs, but I constantly keep coming back to the Herman Miller Gaming Embody as my favorite overall chair. Why is that? Let's get honest. All the chairs and headrests you'll see in this video will be linked in the description below. If I helped you find your perfect chair, please consider using them. It costs you nothing, but it really helps keep this channel alive, and I appreciate your support. The Herman Miller Embody, particularly the Gaming Embody, still has the best seat design I've seen on any chair. This thing is as if cushion and mesh had this sweet, beautiful love affair and gave birth to the most comfortable hybrid material ever made. I mean, this thing is absolutely incredible. The way this thing works is that you get this thin layer of cushion and fabric on top, but then what's on the bottom is kind of this, what they call their pixelated mesh. It kind of feels like mesh where you sit down on it and the thing contorts to your booty, it contorts to your legs, and I have not seen anything like it. But that design language is also in the backrest as well, so that when you sit inside of it, you feel the whole backrest just kind of molding to your body, and it molds to every single movement you make in it. But here's the kicker. Here's what makes it so unique and so different from everything else on the market. You see, only mesh kind of has this principle of like really bending to your body, but the issue with mesh is that every mesh chair has a hard edge on the outside holding that mesh in place. On the Embody though, you get that cushiness and flexibility of mesh without the hard edges, and it is mind-blowing how they managed to do this. You see on the seat here, you can go all the way to the edges, and if you push down, the whole thing is flexible. This makes it really great for people who are single leg tuckers, double leg tuckers, people who like to spread eagle inside of their chair. You get the benefit of a mesh-like feeling chair with all the benefits of cushion. And again, same thing on the backrest. Pretty much this entire thing is flexible and bendy. There are some holding, I think, anchoring points though on this, and it's gonna be in the corners here and this top part of the backrest. These are gonna be the stiffest parts of the chair, but every edge here is gonna be flexible and bendy, making it really great for people who just want to feel hugged inside of their chair without those limitations of hard edges. Herman Miller does this like nobody else in the industry. From every chair that I've tested, no one has been able to replicate this kind of edge-to-edge bending flexible material. The best way to showcase it is actually on the Herman Miller sail. This obviously has the cushion, so you can't really see the skeleton, so I'm gonna bring in the sail here. You can see on the sail here, because all of its skeletons are exposed, you'll see exactly what I mean right here. So if I turn it around, you're gonna see these anchoring points here. This obviously the backrest needs to have some kind of stiffness, otherwise you're just gonna fall back in it. So it's got these anchoring points, but then you can see the edge-to-edge flexibility that I'm talking about, where if you look at this material, look at this, there are no hard edges here and everything is flexible and bendy. That is very similar to what's happening on the Embody here, where the edges here are totally bendy without the restrictions of hard edges. Like again, I keep saying for the millionth time, like on mesh chairs. The backrest design on the Embody is also pretty cool. Not only is it really aesthetically beautiful, but it's also thin and long, and I feel like there's a joke there somewhere, but we're gonna keep moving. But then when you sit inside of the chair, because of its thinness, when you sit inside of it, less of your back is being contacted by the backrest, and this mitigates a big issue with a lot of cushion chairs, where because so much of your back is exposed, you actually don't get nearly as hot in these chairs compared to traditional cushion chairs. And finally, one of the most glaring issues about this chair has been solved by another company called Atlas Headrest with this headrest. I'm going to talk about all the issues with this chair in just a minute because it's not all rainbows and butterflies, but this headrest has basically managed to take this chair to the next level because the Herman Miller Embody also has an incredible amount of tilt back, and because of the flexible back, you can actually tilt back farther than you would in a typical Herman Miller chair, and it feels like you're going further back, but the problem was without a headrest, you were just kind of like, your head was just floating. But now that you have a headrest here, you're able to bring it in and really lounge inside of this chair. But it also solves another issue that you had with the top edge of the backrest. This framing of it, for some reason, Herman Miller decided to make it curve a little bit inwards. And what would happen is that on some people, some taller people, I don't have the privilege of being tall here, but some tall people have noticed that this corner here could dig a little bit into the shoulder blades. And the reason why this headrest has mitigated that is that it can do one of two things. First of all, this cushion is so soft and so well designed that when you move it in and push it down, tall people have noted, and I've gotten this in the comments, like they're able to sit back in the chair and you see how these hard edges are now mitigated. right? So it acts as additional cushion so that your shoulders aren't running into those hard edges. Or if you're somebody who just wants to use this thing as a headrest, with any headrest, it's usually going to be a little bit more forward compared to the backrest here. And when you sit in it, your shoulder blades are no longer making contact with that top back part because now your head is and your neck is being supported and you're slightly tiny bit forward compared to in a totally lax back position like this. The other cons about the Embody I think could be really easily fixed, super easily fixed, but it's a shame that Herman Miller seems to be out there parading their Embody around, dressing it up in different design instead of fixing the things, which is a real shame because again, I think it could be so easily done. Let's talk about the most universally disliked thing about this chair, which is going to be the lumbar pad. This lumbar pad, I can feel it right here. It's just a stiff piece of plastic that just runs kind of this bottom area of the chair, and a lot of people have noted that it doesn't feel the best. Now, for those who really dislike it, that's primarily the reason why this chair turns them off. It is just this hard pad back here, and it's such an easy fix. You either make the thing smaller, you add more cushioning there, you add some adjustments for us to be able to dial it in or out, and that would be it, right? Super duper easy fix. The next super duper easy fix is that these arms are outdated. The cushioning on these armrests are stiff, it's not that squishy, it's not that supportive. I would love to see them update these armrests like they did with their remastered Aeron, their newest Aeron, where those armrests are probably the best in the business for a stock chair. They are super soft, very supple, and you can rest them there, it feels really good. Also, these arms can only be adjusted up and down, and then inwards and outwards, and yeah, you can do them separately like this. And this is pretty outdated arm design compared to every chair in the business. Every other chair, you can move the arms forward and back, you can move them in and out, you can swivel them as well. And these things could use that update of being able to adjust in and out because from what I've seen from all the people I've had in the studio, including random people testing chairs, it seemed like the armrests were one of the most picky things that people had. And I know you can't satisfy everyone with the design, but it would be nice to be able to adjust these things further so that you could appeal to a larger audience of people who needed armrests to function a little bit differently. And yet, despite these flaws, the Herman Miller Embody remains unchallenged. You see, there are a lot of chairs coming out of Asia right now, and instead of trying to innovate and improve the formula or create something that's truly innovative and different and unique and come after the king, they're instead making a ton of mesh chairs. And the reason they use mesh is because, again, mesh gives you that kind of bending, flexing to your molding to your body like experience, but it's got those drawbacks of the hard edges. And instead of trying to create something innovative like the Herman Miller's pixelated mesh, they're instead chopping up all the pieces on the chair to create these multiple moving parts so that the plastic will move with you instead of the actual material. And I think it just kind of cheapens the experience a little bit. You just get more hard edges because there's more mesh introduced, because there's more pieces moving around. The thing could break a little bit easier, and I don't think aesthetically it looks the greatest. So yeah, you just don't see a lot of innovation. It just seems like we're just going to do it good enough coming out of Asia. The brands I do see innovating are going to be chairs like the Hayworth Fern. The Hayworth Fern is an incredible chair. I think the backrest on the Hayworth Fern in particular has innovated on the Embodies, and I think their backrest is superior to the Embodies. It's got that same flexible-like material. It's using this thin mesh layer, which allows it to have a ton of breathability, or you can get the digital knit version, which are like these nice fabric soft balls, which really kind of add a ton of cushion to your back, and then the lumbar support is not this hard plastic tab. So yes, I do think it's better. I think the seat, though, is just kind of a standard cushion, and it's just okay. It's not nearly as good as the Embody seat. Another company I see innovating on the cushion formula is the Anthros Chair. That cushion is the best cushion I've tested on any chair. It is phenomenal, but the design language is totally different. It's meant to help people sit properly in their chair, whereas the Embody will let you sit kind of however you feel like, as unhealthy as you want, ironically as that sounds. So it's not quite the same type of chair, and all these chairs are actually back there. That's why they're sitting on, kind of the pedestal of my pinnacle of chairs. And then you finally got the Steelcase Carmen, which is right there, and the Carmen lineup has been innovating on the mesh formula. What's incredible about the Carmen line is that the plastic that they're using is much more bendable and flexible, and also the mesh and the plastic have no difference in terms of seam level. I don't know how to explain it, but it's so well done that you can actually sit single leg tuck, double leg tuck inside of that chair. The only downside is that because it's a mesh seat, it doesn't feel nearly as comfortable compared to having a foam cushion seat like the Embody does. Now, I will be going to Neocon this June, which is a furniture and design conference, and I'm hoping that I get to see some contenders to the Embody there. If you want to follow me on that journey, make sure you get subscribed, like this video, and let me know what your favorite chair is. And if you want to know all the differences between the gaming Embody and the non-gaming Embody, you can check out that video right here. Until next time, stay honest.